Good morning to you two students. I'm Kang Dojin. You all can call me Mrs. Kang for short. Hope you all treat me good and introduce yourselves. Tell me your names and your parents' occupation. Mrs. Kang said, and Taehyung visibly tensed. After hearing this, you smiled holding Taehyung's hand. Nobody noticed you both because you both were sitting on the very last row. I am Park Cheong. My father is the owner of Rose Medical Hospitals. I am Lali Samonaban. My father is the owner of Monaban Industries. I am Kim Jisoo. My father is the owner of Kim Factories. I am Kim Jenny. My father is the owner of Kim Technology. I am Sana Minato Zaki. My father is the owner of Minato Zaki Entertainment. I am Ziyu. My father is the owner of hotels. The students started to introduce themselves one by one. I am Kim Mini. My father is the CFO of Lee Enterprises. You looked at Minnie when you heard the name of your father's company. Minnie smiled at you sitting back on her seat, and now it was yours and Taehyung's turn, who were sitting on the very last row. I am Lee Wyan. My father is the owner of Lee Enterprises. You smiled, sitting back on your seat. You noticed Taehyung wasn't standing to introduce himself. You gave a small squeeze to Taehyung's hand. Everything will be okay, Taehyung. Introduce yourself. You whispered in his ear. Taehyung smiled, nodding his head. I am Kim Taehyung. My mother is a helper and she works in the mansion. Taehyung clenched his fist, looking down. When he heard his classmates talking bad about him and mocking him, you pulled Taehyung's hand, making him sit back on his seat. Just ignore them, you whispered in Taehyung's ear. They are not worth it. Taehyung nodded, but he couldn't help but feel hurt by his classmates' words because they don't like him. You could have worn your blazer, Taehyung. I wouldn't have asked your parents' occupation. Mrs. Kang laughed, making Taehyung feel more embarrassed. You glared at Mrs. Kang. You abruptly stood up from your seat. What's wrong in being a helper? You asked, and Mrs. Kang looked at you, raising her eyebrows. Wyan, please sit, Taehyung said in a low voice. Shh, you said, keeping your forefinger on Taehyung's plump lip. Yes, Mrs. Kang, tell me, what's wrong in being a helper? You asked again. Everything is wrong in being a helper. They don't have enough money. They don't have any respect in the society. They are untidy. And moreover, they work in others' house to feed themselves. Is that enough for you? Or I should say more, Lee Wyan? Mrs. Kang smoked at you and Taehyung's eyes watered, thinking that's what rich people think about poor. I dare you to make your helpers take a day off and live without them just for one day. You smoked and all gasped, hearing your words. Stop talking ridiculous, Wyan, and sit down, Mrs. Kang said, taking the book out. You rolled your eyes, sitting down on your seat. I need to teach her a lesson, you said, glaring at the teacher. What? No, Wyan, Taehyung said. Tomorrow I am gonna teach her a lesson and you are coming with me, Taehyung. That's it. No more discussion on this, you said, taking your book out from your bag while Taehyung sighed at your stubborn behavior. You stood in front of your mansion calling Taehyung at 7 a.m. in the morning. Hello Taehyung, I am standing outside my mansion. I want you to come here. At 7 a.m.? Are you sure? Taehyung asked from the other side. Yes, we are gonna take revenge from Mrs. Kang. I found out her address. Come fast. Okay, Wyan, I will be there in 5 minutes. You hear Taehyung's mother asking him to drink strawberry milkshake. Taehyung, your mom made you strawberry milkshake? Yes, Wyan. Can you? Taehyung understood what you was trying to say. Just wait there, Wyan. I will bring strawberry milkshake for you. No, Taehyung, I will come to your house. But Wyan, you won't like it here. I will definitely like it there. You smiled, hanging up the call, and went towards the helper's quarter, which is just behind the mansion. As you entered the quarter, everyone looked at you in shock when they saw you in the helper quarters. You smiled, looking at the helpers. You called Taehyung again. Taehyung, what is your room number? Room number 17. You stood in front of the door. You was about to open the door, but Taehyung opened the door, calling you inside his house. You smiled, getting inside. You looked at Taehyung's room with a frown. Dad said it has 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 living room, and a kitchen in the quarters. He lied to me, Taehyung. You said in disbelief. You was about to go, but Taehyung held your hand. My mother's handmade strawberry milkshake tastes awesome. Do you wanna try it? Taehyung asked, and you smiled, nodding your head cutely. Oh, Miss Ryan, Mrs. Kim said, coming out of washroom, wiping her hands. Good morning, Mrs. Kim. You smiled, bowing your head down slightly. My baby doesn't treat people by their status, Taehyung thought, looking at his love with a fond smile. Call me Jisoo Auntie, Miss Ryan. Don't call me Mrs. Kim. It sounds too formal. Mrs. Kim smiled. Then you also call me Ryan because Miss Ryan sounds too formal, Auntie. You said, and Taehyung looked at his mother with sad eyes. Mom, please bring strawberry milkshake for us, Taehyung said, changing the topic. Mrs. Kim smiled. Mrs. Kim smiled, going inside the kitchen. Taehyung sighed in sadness because he can't say you to sit beside. He doesn't even have a single chair in his house. Taehyung widened his eyes when he saw you sat down on the floor playing with your watch. Sit down, Taehyung, sit down. You smiled, patting the floor beside you. Taehyung smiled, sitting beside you. You clapped your hands when you saw Mrs. Kim coming inside the living room, carrying a tray of strawberry milkshakes. Thank you so much, Auntie. You smiled, taking a glass of milkshake. Taehyung smiled, taking the milk from the tray. You both enjoy your milkshake. Mrs. Kim smiled, going inside the kitchen to make breakfast. You giggled cutely after tasting the milkshake, and you drank the milkshake in a go. You smiled, keeping the glass down. You saw Taehyung keeping his glass down as well after drinking his shake. You chuckled when you saw milkshake mustache above Taehyung's upper lip. You smiled, your smile dropped when you saw Taehyung's lip were literally few inches away from your lips. You unknowingly leaned a little closer towards him. Both of your lips were about to touch, but you gasped, pulling back when you heard Mrs. Kim's footsteps. The milkshake tasted so good, and Taehyung is lucky that he could drink your delicious milkshake every day. I'm jealous of this baby bear sitting beside me. You joked, hitting Taehyung's bicep playfully while he laughed. Oh, Ryan, if you want, you can come here to drink milkshake anytime. I will make it for you, or I can make milkshake in your mansion. Just order me. Mrs. Kim smiled. Thank you, Auntie. That would be my pleasure. You smiled. You looked at your watch. Taehyung, we are getting late. Shall we go? You asked, and Taehyung nodded his head, standing up with you. Okay, Auntie. Bye. Take care. You said, hugging Mrs. Kim. Jisoo smiled, hugging you back, feeling extremely happy. Okay, Mom. Bye. Love you. Taehyung smiled, hugging his mom. Taehyung and you walked out of the quarters and stood in front of your car parking. There were literally 25 to 30 luxurious cars parked there. Taehyung was amazed. He had never seen so many luxury cars in one place before. Wow, he said, looking around. Your family is really rich, Ryan. Choose Taehyung. You smile looking at Taehyung. Today you are going to choose the car, you said, pointing at the cars. Really? He smiled widely. You chuckled and nodded your head. Taehyung looked around the cars, having a cute pout on his lips. You fondly smiled, admiring him. He happily chuckled and ran towards the car. You followed him behind. What about this black Benz? He said. Okay, as you wish, my boy, you said, taking the key out from the stand, getting inside the car while Taehyung blushed messily at the word my boy. Do you want to stand here whole day? You said, sliding the window. Come inside. Huh? Oh yeah, he immediately sat inside the car at passenger seat. You start the engine and looked at Taehyung, who was looking down, playing with his fingers nervously. Do you wanna say something? He looked up and nodded hesitantly. What is it? If you don't mind, can I drive the car? And it is okay if you don't want. Taehyung said, looking down awkwardly. You giggled, throwing the key towards Taehyung. Taehyung smiled, catching the keys, and you both exchanged the seats. You noticed that this time Taehyung wore the seatbelt properly. Where do you want to go, Ryan? Taehyung asked, and you typed the address on the navigator. Taehyung nodded his head, driving towards destination. Taehyung, I remember how you didn't know to wear seatbelt before, and how come you are driving the car this good? You asked, looking beside you. Taehyung snatched his name playfully with a smile. I used to drive a tractor back in Busan. Please don't tell anyone. Taehyung said, making you giggle. You stood in front of a luxurious mansion. Come, let's go inside. You smiled, holding Taehyung's hand. But what about these security guards, Ryan? Taehyung asked, looking at the security guards standing in front of the mansion gate. Just to see Lee Ryan's magic, you grinned adorably, making Taehyung chuckle at your cuteness. You winked playfully at Taehyung, walking towards the mansion's gate with a smirk, leaving a very much afraid Taehyung outside.